Good afternoon from Bali and welcome to episode 4 of Aron's update from Bali. So I'll get straight into it because there's lots to go through. The big news that I had this month was that Homer was featured on the Dodo, and it was absolutely incredible because I think there's been about 2 million views or something like that, and just to think that many people have seen Homer's story, seen him be rescued and see him transform from the dog on the street to the dog he is today. So I'm so excited to have been featured on the Dodo and have Homer's story featured on the Dodo. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put the video somewhere in the comments down below, but I'll get into some of the rescue activities that I've been up to in the last few weeks, starting with one of the sweetest dogs that I think I've ever rescued, who I didn't think would be, is Digby. So anybody who knows Digby, you'll probably have seen him on my Instagram and giving story updates of him every day or two. And I got this call one day from a friend of mine who said that they found this dog on the street and he's in really bad shape. It looked like he had a broken leg, he had a skin condition, he was really skinny, and he wasn't doing very well. They didn't think he'd live very long on the street. So I said, give me the location and I'll go and try and find him, not sure whether I would. So I turned up with a cage and I managed to track Digby down. It's true, he was in terrible condition. Digby had been wandering the streets and pretty much abandoned by his owners, and we were able to get him in a cage there, and I took him to Sunset Vet. So since then, the x-rays have shown that he didn't actually have a broken leg at all. He has this really cute leg deformity. He did not like me at all. When I try and stroke him, he'd snarl at me. I was trying to be friendly. I spent hours sitting next to him until finally Digby let me stroke him, and it turns out he had so many problems. He had anemia, he had blood parasites, he had a fungal skin condition, he had a bacterial skin condition. So you name it, poor old Digby had it. However, I went to see him as many times as I possibly could, and this dog today has already turned into the sweetest dog ever. He suddenly really loves me. We had a few really brilliant breakthrough moments. So today, Digby's doing really well. It turns out his leg's not broken, it's a deformity. My only concern is that I haven't yet found Digby a home. So I'm really looking for a home, preferably somebody in Bali. If you know somebody who could help rehome Digby, please get in touch. I'd really love to complete Digby's story. The other big rescue, but it's a sad one, I'm afraid, and it's a little puppy called Tony. In one of the markets that I visit often to do street feeding and bring medicine for some of the dogs who have skin problems, I noticed this little puppy. I couldn't get near her, and she was snarling and she was hiding under this sort of concrete area, and I just couldn't get near her. I kept trying to go back and find her, and I couldn't. So this went on for about 2 or 3 weeks. I did manage to get her some medicine at one time, so her skin had started to get better, but I knew she needed rescuing as well. So eventually, one day, she turned up, and I don't know what happened from the first meeting and the second meeting, but she was suddenly really lovely. So I was able to pick her up. I took her to the vet, and things were going really well. She even met Digby and was good friends with Digby for a while. She was doing so well. She was the happiest little dog. And she ended up going to one of the kennels that I use when they don't need as much vet treatment anymore. It turns out, though, that she was actually really sick, though none of us knew it. She had pneumonia and blood parasites, and we didn't test for that, and potentially we should have, yes, but she wasn't actually showing any of the key signs for that. So why would you run a test for something that you don't know a dog has? And you can't run every test, unfortunately. So sadly, we didn't run the test, and it's something that could have been fixed that it wasn't. And Tony sadly went downhill suddenly one morning. I went to see her the day before and she was doing so well, but she went downhill and Tony passed away. And it hurts to know that she could have been saved, but I also think she could have been saved before she was dumped. She didn't have to be dumped on the street. She should have been given medicine before she even got sick. So it's very sad. And my bad luck didn't end there, I'm sad to say. If anybody was following Barry's story, another similar puppy from the exact same area as Tony, he sadly also passed away. He had parvovirus, which is a really dangerous virus. He was diagnosed with it at the end of my last update, and I was hoping he'd get through it because we'd already vaccinated him a couple of weeks before, so we hoped that he had the antibodies. But sadly, Barry didn't have them, and he didn't make it. And it breaks my heart, losing these two puppies. But I also think that at least they had a little bit of love from humans. At least they had a little bit of safety. At least they didn't have to die in complete discomfort. There's something that I need to discuss, and I always do when I lose an animal, and that is that there really is no difference between what we're doing to calves in the dairy industry, male dairy calves, or chicks in the egg industry, who all get killed effectively because they're useless and we don't want them. I don't see much of a difference between throwing a baby puppy away to killing a calf or a chicken in the egg industry. So please, if you're drinking milk, eating meat products, eating dairy or egg, please have a think about what you're funding. Look into it, look into some of the videos online, and if you're anything like me, you'll probably be absolutely horrified with some of the practices. I won't go into them now, and I'll keep going on with my updates because there's lots happening. Another dog that I was just taking to her new home when the last video was out is Hina, and I'm so happy because Hina has settled in really, really well. She really loves her new home, and they really love her. So it's been a fantastic ending for Hina. And I'm so excited because, again, this was a dog that I couldn't get anywhere near, and now she is the biggest love bug on the planet. Oh, what dog have we got next? Let's have a look. Cookie! Cookie is doing okay. She had a bad time at the kennel. Just a quick backstory to Cookie. She's a dog that I've been feeding for about 2 years now, and I became concerned for her safety. She's a street dog, so I took her into a kennel. Since losing her mum on the street, she's been a little traumatized, and she hasn't really settled in, so I've taken her to my house, where she still hasn't settled in that well, but we're really trying our best. We're trying to get Cookie to become the dog that I always remember her as, and we're working on her, but she's got some issues to deal with, and I'm hoping we can bring her back from her psychological trauma that she's suffering at the moment. But otherwise, she's very healthy, she's doing really well, and the most important thing is that Cookie's really safe now. The next dog is Blackie, who I know a lot of people have been following her story. It is literally over a year and a half ago almost, since I met Blackie, and Blackie had one of the biggest tumours that I've ever seen, and the vet was very hopeful that she could be okay. So with Blackie, she has had 19 rounds of chemotherapy. It was working really well, and the tumour shrank to a tiny, tiny size, but hasn't gone. It's still there, unfortunately. We've tried different chemotherapies. There's other drugs that just aren't available to give her, sadly. We're trying a last-ditch attempt at a new medicine, which I hope is going to, once and for all, get rid of Blackie's cancer. But the happiest thing about Blackie is that she's gone from a very, very sick dog to a very happy dog, and this dog doesn't know that she has cancer. She doesn't know it's potentially life-threatening. So she's still doing really well, and she's really happy. She's put on a good amount of weight. She has been on some steroids as well, which explains why. It's not that she's just fat, but she's so funny. She's only got 3 legs because we amputated one of her legs, which was broken. But a whole different story. If you want to see Blackie's story, go back to some of the other videos that have been on my YouTube channel. A couple of other quick updates. Chaya doing very well in his new home. The baby kitten that I met 1 week on the street. He's doing fantastically. He's a big old cat now, big old ginger cat, and he's very, very spoiled. So this is one of the best things that about what I'm doing here, that you can see animals that go into these lives where they can just live the life of Riley, and I'm really, 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 really happy with it. Next dog is Nico, who I mentioned. I've been looking for him several times, and sadly I haven't found him since. However, when I did first find Nico, I was able to give him some medicine. So my hope is that now that he's been medicated and his fur's grown back, his owners really love him again and have brought him back into the family. The next dog that I've got, who's currently fighting for her life, sadly, is a dog called Chocolate. So somebody who'd heard about some of the rescue work I've been doing asked me if I could help with a dog on the street, and they sent me a photo and video of this poor dog who was so skinny, and I said yes, I'll come and I'll take her into the vet. So she's been in the vet and she's in really critical condition. She has had a lot of luck, really. It probably sounds a bit depressing, but she's actually had really a lot of luck. She had blood parasites so bad that her blood was clotting and she wouldn't have survived another 24 hours. I put an appeal out asking for anybody who has a dog who's over 25 kilos, who's a male, with no history of blood parasites before, to become a blood donor. And thankfully, Elena and Mogi, the dog hero, came in just with hours to go, and I'm pleased to say that the transfusion was a success. So Chocolate's blood level, the PCV level, as it's known, when she came in, it was 17%. It went down to 10% when she was about to pass away. Now it's up, at the time of this video, to 32%. So normal is around 40-50%. So she's doing really well in that respect, but sadly she's got a lot of other issues and she's trying to fight them. She has protein deficiencies and all sorts of different stuff. So we're trying our very best. The vet is trying her best. She's fighting for her life at the moment. So thank you for sending her a bit of love. I really appreciate it. And I'm hoping that Chocolate can be saved. I've been a bit behind with doing videos like this, and I did promise I'd do a few more vegan related videos. In the meantime, I've been doing a few more vegan posts on my Instagram account. Hi babies! Hi baby! Mum is over there, she's separated. Their tails are wagging, they're just like dogs, these creatures. Sadly, you know, these pigs are going to get fattened up. And then they'll be killed for food. Oh, good girl. Yeah, I just see some beautiful creatures here. I know, I hate knowing that somebody's going to hurt them. It's in his own excrement there, the poor thing. You are so pretty. You are so pretty, aren't you? Are you so talky? I'm sorry, guys. Your tail going? Is your tail going? If anyone can tell me why these animals deserve to be food, but a street dog doesn't, I'd love to hear that your reasoning, because I just can't think of one. They really are no different. They feel all the same things. I'm just so sad knowing that these animals are going to become somebody's food and they don't have to. I hope you can consider veganism if you're out there. If you need any tips, as always, please feel free to message me. You'll always get a reply, completely non-judgmental and supportive. So thank you for watching update number 4, or was it number 5? It was one of them. Thank you for watching. Cheers.